Louisiana's antebellum homes stand as reminders of an age gone by. However, grandeur like this was shared by only a few. Most Louisianans, both before and after the Civil War, were plain folk. The LSU Rural Life Museum is a tribute to these Louisianans. In a world without electricity, reliable transportation, manufacturing, or telephones, survival called for incredible tenacity and inner strength. The museum is located on Burden Research Plantation, a 414-acre agricultural experiment station owned by Louisiana State University's Agricultural Center. Founded in 1970 by Steele and Ione Burden, the Rural Life Museum was carved out of the original family plantation, Windrush. Today, the museum features over 30 historic buildings from rural Louisiana. These holdings illustrate to modern-day visitors what life was like for the laboring classes during the 19th century. The Plantation section of the Rural Life Museum preserves the working buildings found behind the big house. Buildings include a commissary, or general store, which provided the necessities of life and was a gathering place for relaxation and socializing. The kitchen, generally set apart from the main house because of heat and the danger of fire, was sometimes used to prepare meals for the entire plantation. Doctors were rare visitors to most plantations, and the sick were cared for by the plantation mistress, the overseer or his wife in the sick house. Although children of the plantation owner were privately tutored, the one-room schoolhouse accommodated the overseer's children and those of neighboring yeoman farmers. A skillful craftsman performed all ironwork in the blacksmith shop, meticulously crafting and repairing the many tools needed for 19th century farming. The Rural Life Museum also features buildings used as living quarters by the working sector of the plantation. Crude, sparsely furnished one-room slave cabins attest to the harsh reality of life in the slave quarters. A larger yet simple dwelling nearby housed the plantation overseer and his family. Not only does the Rural Life Museum authentically recreate the working class sector of a Louisiana plantation, but it also features unique architectural styles of the day, helping illustrate the diverse cultures of Louisiana settlers. The Upland South section of the museum represents the architecture and culture of settlers in North Louisiana. Buildings include the country church, built in Gothic Revival style with painted windows rather than stained glass, a typical custom of poorer congregations. The aptly named Dog Trot House has a central breezeway, which provided a cool, shaded area for summertime chores. Although the pioneer's cabin, made of pine logs and stone, may look barren by today's standards, it contains all the furnishings needed in that day. The 1820 Stoner cabin was inhabited by the same family until the 1950s. The jail, with 4-inch thick walls, was used by the parish sheriff to lock up criminals, whether free or enslaved. In the Gulf Coast South section of the museum, French and Caribbean influences are seen in the architectural styles of the Creole or Acadian house. Buildings include the Germain Bergeron House, believed to be the oldest standing Acadian house in Louisiana. The Shotgun House, named for the placement of rooms one behind another, was frequently built on plantations for quarters housing, and also served as working class housing within cities. The once common split cypress barn, made entirely by hand, is a rare survivor today. Heritage crops such as sugarcane and indigo are displayed throughout this section. Throughout the Rural Life Museum are tools, household utensils, furniture, and farming implements, some displayed in the original buildings where rural craftsmen and laborers lived and worked. An extensive collection of artifacts is exhibited throughout the original museum barn and in the 20,000 square foot visitor center. Adjacent to the museum grounds is Windrush Gardens, a 25-acre expanse of semi-formal gardens with winding paths and lovely open vistas. Designed and developed by noted landscape designer Steele Burton, the gardens feature plants representative of varieties used in 19th century plantation gardens, as are the bronze and marble statues located throughout. An important function of the Rural Life Museum is education. The museum serves as a resource for university students, elementary and secondary school-aged children, and adult visitors in the pursuit of lifelong learning. Various interpretive programs are presented throughout the year, demonstrating how folks from the rural 19th century lived and worked. Skilled Louisiana artisans create handmade crafts at these programs, many of which can be found and purchased in the museum gift shop. The Rural Life Museum has become a major outdoor folk museum, commemorating and preserving this important part of our nation's rural heritage.